All right, let's see where we are. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hey, how are you?
What's up? Who is that? Is that Q?
No, it's Nick.
No, and the other, I see somebody
Oh,
else in
that
it.
looks. It looks like Tanya. Hopefully, she'll tap in here and she'll show her video here. Q hasn't tapped in just quite yet.
Okay.
Let me see. Are we on Free Thinkers? Because I hope I got the stream to go to the right place this time.
Let me see. I need to reshare it anyway.
Okay. I'm going to, let's see, layout.
I'm gonna try to pay attention to the comment section. Yep, you have it in Free Thinkers.
Okay, see, last week I think what happened is when I broadcasted it, it went to my personal Facebook instead of Free Thinkers. So none of the comments were crossing from the
Oh.
web to the app. So I'm not, and I'm still not seeing any comments yet.
It's still under your name, but you shared it into Free Thinkers. It says Nikki Davy is now live.
Okay, because it's supposed to go directly into Free Thinkers because I didn't share it like manually. So okay, there it is. And I think that's generally how it looks when Q sends it over there too. So that should be right. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. So I'm liking the StreamYard so far.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's pizzazz.
What'd you say?
I said it's giving us some pizzazz.
It is, and I'm trying to learn some other features with like overlays, and I just shredded a bunch of stuff off of my cell phone to make some space so that I can download a bunch of new apps so I can do some photo editing stuff.
Nice.
So hopefully we'll have a little commercial coming up soon, and like just a couple cool little things try to make this little razzle dazzle seem
Okay.
all official.
Okay, razzle dazzle.
A little razzle dazzle. Let's see. I'm trying to play with some of these things right now.
I made some bok choy. I finally made it.
Did you?
Girl, it's hitting.
It is one. I never cooked bok choy until that day. I've eaten plenty of bok choy, but I've never cooked bok choy until that day. And I'm like, this is so easy, super versatile, and it's hella healthy.
Yeah.
I was very happy with that. I was really happy with it. Well, I said we would go on at 9:03, so we'll give it, one more minute. I know right now it's just you and I in the conversation, but we are going to stay on time and on topic, and we'll start right at 9:03. My goal is to try to get us a counter so that we don't have to just be looking at, like blank space, but I couldn't figure out counters. Huh?
Pull a smack and have the little counter counting down in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I want to have a counter. I want to have all those little cool little things. I'm just messing with lights and stuff right now. I went and got my ring light today, so I'm kind of excited.
I can see.
Yay! Turn it up a little bit. What'd you say?
I said yes with the glow.
Trying to do a little something, And it's a trip because this is so much better than Zoom. I love this format way more than Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a comment. Who was that? Facebook user.
Let me see. I'm gonna have to go to your page. I'm not seeing it in Free Thinkers. Let me see.
You're not seeing the comment section?
Oh, it shows in yours. Who is it? Tanya.
Okay.
I killed it.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got here. Who do we got coming in? We got Ivory coming in. I thought I had it so that I don't have to manually put people in. But hey, hello.
Hi, ladies.
What do we got here? Okay, there we go. Way better. Hello. Okay, so the comments are showing up. Cool. Okay. Denise, if you want to help me keep an eye on the comments, I would be super appreciative of that. Girl, trying to look at 40 things at one time, I'm like, I know I'm going to forget something.
I think I'm gonna go between the Free Thinkers page and your page.
Well, and
do you easily just see the comments on the side, or where
I do now. Last week we didn't, but this week I do.
And listen, I'm such an idiot, right? I'm in the comments trying to tell you how to see the comments, and you're saying I can't see the comments. I thought about it later, like, girl, if you're not slow.
But you could still see them on Facebook. They just weren't going over to StreamYard. And I wasn't even seeing them on Facebook.
On the tab, I'm like, girl, she just said she can't see the comments.
Yeah, it was kind of stressing me out last week. I was like, I'm missing something. I don't know what's happening. But I realized last week I sent it to my personal Facebook instead of the Free Thinkers page. Okay. So people that were commenting on Free Thinkers, it was not showing up in the StreamYard. So I was like, Let's see. Okay. Well, we've got, close that out. I wanted to also, I've been looking at other people's like morning shows and just different shows that have been going on. And I really like when they've got like 6 or 8 people on the screen, because it just like visually it looks better, and then it's, you got 3 on top, 3 on bottom, 4 on top, 4 on bottom. And me and Q have talked about a million times that when the group just gets too big, it gets to be too much sometimes, and back in the old days, that little room, we would have 7 to 10 people and it was perfect. So I figure I'll try to limit it today to 6, see if we can get up to 6 people to jump in the conversation, and then just go from there, play with the forums. But I really like the StreamYard thing. I don't foresee going back to Zoom. Hopefully we'll keep going, we'll keep getting better at some of these StreamYard features and be able to really get a little more fluid with StreamYard. Have you used it more on yourself, Ivory? Have you been playing with some of the features?
You know what? Some of them, yes.
Okay.
I play with the banners.
Yeah.
I've been doing like how you have the ticker. I have the little ticker. So I try to set my banners up early so I can say what the topic is at the bottom. Sometimes I forget to put it up though.
Yep. Be hitting so many buttons at once.
It's a lot of thinking. You're trying to look at the comments. You're trying to make sure everything, So, and also just like formatting. So I try to start with just myself and then add everybody after I do an intro. So I've been getting better,
Okay.
Think about stuff as you go, and go
right.
So it's been interesting.
And I like it. You were the first person that I had ever used StreamYard with, and I was like, ooh, this is cool. I really like some of the features, but I get really intimidated by new shit. So, I'm like, no, Zoom is fine. But Smack's like, no, it's not. Y'all got to step it up. And I was like, scared.
You want to really be able to brand.
Yeah.
Zoom kind of makes it hard to do.
It does. It does. It serves its purpose, but it's out of there. All right, so we're about 9:10. So let's just go ahead and get started. I know we've talked about a couple of the things that were on tonight's topic anyways. So if we've got some time, we can, Matt, the StreamYard link is in the event for tonight. So you just click on the StreamYard link and it should take you straight into it. Sorry, I'm reading the comment. Do y'all see the comments, or do I only see the comments?
I can see it, but I have to go to it to see it.
Okay. Because what we see is different than what y'all see.
I could just see it.
Yeah, I'm looking on the Free Thinkers page.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it playing.
Add them to the bottom. Ivory adds comments sometimes.
Yeah, you can actually click on the comment, Nikki, and it'll come up if it's something you think is interesting.
I saw that. I like that too. I do. Yeah, Q said he can't get on either. Okay, so if you go to the event in the Free Thinkers page where the event actually is, in the discussion of that event, it's got the link to the StreamYard.
Yeah, you got to keep scrolling down though. You got to go, because it took me a second and I was like, oh, there it is. So.
Okay, well, I'll have to figure out how to do this better then next time. Let me see.
I'll find it for you, Nikki, and I'll just forward it.
Okay, because I've got it. I'm looking at it right now. It's on the event.
I was going to say, I could just message Quentin.
It's on the event on the discussion.
I think it's still.
Only thing I don't kind of like about StreamYard is you get a different link every single time that you do a stream. Yeah.
That's annoying.
I totally like being able. I like Zoom because you could have. It was the same one every week. I was like, oh man. Then I kind of get it, but
like I use that one for Free Thinkers, and then when we have family meetings, we use the same one. And so I knew the number by heart now.
Right, I had ours memorized. I had the whole password and everything.
Denise, I text Quentin the link.
You did? Okay.
He's in.
I just added Matt.
Oh, yeah, we're both in there. They should both be coming in. All right, we got Q, we got Matt. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so there's our 6. No, I can't count. There's our 5. We're gonna have that. All right, I'll give you
You're the one.
Q, Matt, I'm just curious, how did you guys not see the link? Did you not see it in the event, or was it just hard to find?
I just asked before I really looked.
Honestly. All right.
I looked and I didn't see it. I probably had to, maybe I don't know what I was looking for.
Okay, I'll have to do something different to make it a little more visible. Sorry about that. All right. So we got us a little group going on. Let me make sure we are up on Free Thinkers, because now I'm not seeing our video.
Yeah, Nikki, I actually had to go to the recent post that was on the invite to find the link. I know that.
Yeah, we're still on.
Okay.
But it was like other suggested events, and then it was like recent posts, and then you had posted the link in one of those, and that's where I found it.
I tried to just post it a couple places so that it was visible, but all right. So we're good. It's 9:12. Let's get started. All right. So I wanted to talk about first, and hopefully we'll have enough time to be able to pivot, because I would like to have us be able to get into the conversation of the transgender folks going into sports. I know we talked about it, or it was talked about on Black Tea Talk yesterday, but I want us to be able to have that conversation, because I think we were kind of, there was a lot of different mixed emotions about that. And, this is happening. So I definitely want to spend some time being able to talk about that, but did want to also talk about the 3 different relationship topic questions that were posted. So did you guys each get a chance to read the relationship questions then?
Yeah.
No.
You hadn't seen them yet. Okay. All right. So look. So we'll go with this one first. Bam. We'll go with that one first. So the question that was posed, I'm in this relationship group on Facebook. And so one of the questions that was posed was, it was over 40. And it says, do we fall in love or do we grow in love? So thinking about the question, whether it's, at 20s, 30s, 40s, obviously most of us are, getting a few more candles on our birthday anyways. I know Denise got a ways to go before you get the same number of candles as we got, but in the aspect of loving later, right? Like, we're not 21 anymore. The aspect of loving later, do we fall in love or do you think we grow in love? And anybody who wants to go first can go. Go ahead.
I think if you want to stay in love, your ass better be prepared to grow in love. Because you can fall in love very easily. But if you can't continue to grow with each other and you can't, it's done. It's a wrap. Especially as an adult. A grown-ass adult.
But you got to crawl before you can walk.
Do what?
You got to crawl before you can walk. You don't grow in love before you actually fall in love. So that actually comes, and then once you fall in love or get that feeling about someone, then if you properly grow it, then you can continue in that relationship. If you don't, then that's when people go their separate ways.
So you don't think that you have to grow to love somebody first? Or do you think you love them first and then you grow into loving them more?
No, most people fall in lust with a person, and then from that lust, then you develop a love, and then from you falling in love, then your love starts to grow.
I was gonna say the same thing. Normally, the what people call falling in love is just like strong infatuation. It's just like a strong desire to have you,
Mm,
which is not really love, right? Just because
hmm
I want to doesn't mean I love you. Love is like commitment and sacrifice, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole bunch of stuff that's not just I want you to be mine.
Right.
But that initial feeling is like, oh God, I want this person. And they might feel the same way. I want you too, but that's not actually love. So I agree. It's like you have to grow in love, like to make those major commitments and sacrifices for a person. Like you grow into that. But I could want you as soon as I see you now.
Real.
Matt, do you grow in love or do you fall in love?
I'm talking about Ivory on this one because, like Quentin said, I think you fall in lust, um, especially if you move fast. I don't think that you are necessarily in love with somebody, but I think you can grow to love somebody. Because when you first said something about this, I started thinking about like arranged marriages,
Mm-hmm.
um, where sometimes they don't even meet the person until right before the wedding or during the wedding or whatever. So, but then they end up staying together for years, and I don't know if that's just their culture and their ways, or if that's that they actually do love one another.
So that would be growing in love, though, because you're not just in love with this person in an arranged marriage. You have to grow to love that person. Like when I read the question, my initial response was both of them. Like you grow in love and you fall in love. Like the 42-year-old me, I look at love a little bit different today than how I used to. I used to feel like that. I'd be like, "You're gonna be mine," you're mine, 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 right? And like I love you first, and then I'll grow to love you. But I don't know if I feel that way anymore. I feel like you have to grow on me for me to even love you, and then for me to be in love with you is like a whole nother ball game. I can love you and not be in love with you. So I was like, I don't know if I read the question right, but I feel like you have to grow to love somebody because it is just lust, right? Like, and if it's just in the lustful stages, lust is not the same thing as love.
At all.
No.
You're not going to grow in love with anyone if you haven't fallen in love with them first. You don't take the time, the effort, the patience to grow in love. Because growing in love, that all takes patience. That takes perseverance. It takes a lot of arguments, takes headaches, take a whole lot of stuff. And you're not doing all that with somebody you ain't even fell in love with first. You don't grow in love before you fall in love.
This is my challenge too, though, Q, is to me that's still not falling in love. It's like I think it is good to have a healthy infatuation. I think we need to not discount a little lust.
That's good.
When you see somebody, like you get a little quickening, like it's a little something about them that does it. I wouldn't call that love. I think a healthy amount of infatuation is good because life gets a little ho hum, things get a little sticky, all kind of stuff in life happen, and when you have that strong desire, kind of lust desire for somebody, and then you can start building on that love as well. To me, that's how it works. I'm not with the I don't like you at all, or I don't get no, and I'm just gonna grow in love because I don't think that sticks. Think you need a little something.
You do.
You gotta have like. You have to like that person, and I think that people love people that they truly don't actually like sometimes. So I feel like if the like is there, if the mutual like and the mutual reciprocity is there, like it's going to take me a while to love somebody. I can like you a lot, I can want to love you, but it's got to be a growing aspect that happens before love can actually even be manifested.
Mm.
And I don't know if I believe in that, like falling in love, love at first sight shit. Like, I don't know. I think that goes back to lust and infatuation.
You can't grow in love until you love. I mean, that's simple. In order for the love to grow, the love has to exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have to want to love that person, but you don't love somebody when you first meet them. You don't love somebody, within the first couple of whatever while you're getting to meet them.
I disagree.
I disagree. Okay.
Okay, this is why I say that. I think that we put way too many barriers on romantic love, because I will meet somebody and have a conversation with them the first day. It's a platonic thing, and I will love that person right then in that moment. The energy we exchanged and the moment that we had with each other was so powerful that I can say that I love that person. And so I feel like, why does it have to be different with romance? Why do we try to make romantic love be so different?
But it is different. Romantic versus platonic love is different love.
But why is the time limits always different on it?
I don't believe in necessarily the time limits. I don't. I believe that some people put what they say, the horse in front of the cart, or whatever, however that goes, the cart in front of the horse, whichever way it goes. I believe some people do the steps maybe a little jumbled, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that you're falling in love with somebody, that you love somebody earlier. I love a lot of people, but I don't be in love with much. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, there's a big difference between loving somebody, because I love a lot of people, but I'm not necessarily in love on the romantic side, obviously. Timelines, I don't think there's a timeline to love. I agree with you on that.
So here's my question. I got a question.
I'm listening.
Is being in love with someone just loving someone that you like? Is that all it really is?
Is being in love loving someone that you like? No, because I'm not in love with my girlfriends. I'm not in love with my platonic friends. I guess for me, I reserve in love for romantic relationships versus love for platonic / and or romantic relationships, if that makes sense.
You might as well just make the N short for infatuation / love. That's what being in love is. It's a little bowl of infatuation and some love all mixed together. I'm in love.
I like that.
But I was going to say, while I always say it's more complicated, for me at least, Denise, is like when I think about like loving somebody, I'm like thinking about sacrifice.
Right.
And like, I do love people on a certain level, but like the level of sacrifice I'm willing to give, that denotes like me being like in all encompassing love. Like, I had to change for my husband. You know, I had to like try to be a freaking better person. You know, like I was with people before and it was really just about having them. Like, it wasn't about me being better. It wasn't about sacrificing. It wasn't about, so like, to me, I was like, oh no, I love this person. Like, I'm willing to change. So when people just like, oh yeah, I'm just so in love, but like nothing, like, are you sacrificing? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And so to me, that's why it's more complicated.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I agree. And that's definitely love. The compromising aspect, if you don't have the compromising aspect in your relationship, can you even call that love? Is that love if you don't compromise with your partner?
I don't see it.
But how many relationships struggle because somebody will not compromise, you know? They can easily say they're still in love, but I guess that's part of maybe the growing in love part.
Did it start that way? I think it's the question. Did it start that way? I feel like most relationships where a person doesn't compromise, it's always been that way from the beginning. And then another person gets tired, but it's like you presented as a person who didn't care, and you kept on doing these things probably because you wanted love. So you never spoke up and said, I don't want this, or I want to try that. And now you're like 10 years into something, but you never spoke up.
People be giving you the okie doke though, Denise. I'm just saying from the relationships I remember being in before, like you, and I mean, I don't know, like when you get older, I don't feel like I'm the same person who would accept the same crap. Mm-hmm. But like, I just remember like, oh, well, nobody ever taught me how to really be in a relationship. Oh, well, if I just have somebody who, you know, if you just ride with me, I'll get better. You know, like just for years listening to excuses about why a person's not sacrificing because of their brokenness or because of their functions, or, and you say, oh, okay. So we just be getting okie doke. That's what happens. And you look up, oh no, you're a jerk. I'm like, oh.
Okie doke still happening too. But I think that's part of the lust part of a new relationship too, is the newness, the blinders are on, the not looking at red flags, you know, and then it turns into that long-term scenario of, was it like this from jump? Like you said, Denise, was this like this from jump, or did this turn into this as time went on? And I agree with you. It's generally shit that you see from the jump. You know, even the people who pull an okie doke, like I've learned if my boundaries are where they're supposed to be, them little tiny red flags don't even get a pass, right? But like the younger us, unfortunately, I can't say all of us, but I know for myself, definitely just watch the red flags just pass on by because I love him, because I love him, because I love him. Shit, today, so I'm telling you, when I read that quote and it said, "Do we fall in love or grow in love?" I was like, "Blow." But that may also come from being in a guarded space too. Believing in love, being a diehard believer in love, but not wanting to waste time on something that actually isn't love. So that necessary, like I gotta see the growth, I gotta see the commitment, I have to see those things before I can even consider trying to fall in love with somebody. So it's not, I mean, I guess it's works and actions at the same time. But I honestly didn't even know if there was a way to differentiate that question between falling in love versus growing in love. So I'm curious, you know, it was interesting to hear Q's feedback. Y'all got any other thoughts on falling in love and growing in love before we jump on to the next question by chance?
I wanted to say something to what Ivory said about it. And I'm sorry, it's a little loud. Toby.
Hey, what's up?
It's kind of, do you have the TV on in the background?
Oh, shit, yeah.
It's kind of loud. Can you mute it? Can you just mute it when you're not talking?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, to what Ivory was saying, which was a really, really good point, is there the okie doke, when people, they're like, oh, damn, they had a rough upbringing, or they have this situation with their mom or their dad, and you start to like make excuses as to why, like she said, they don't reciprocate and things like that. And that shit is so hard to break out of, because you're really like, but I know their story. I must be here to save and protect. I can't just walk away. I have to be the one to fix them. And I think some people, and maybe a lot of people, are not in love or growing in love, but they're in codependence.
I was just going to say, there's a word for that. Codependency.
I think that's what it is in a lot of cases. Codependence.
It is. You know, and a lot of people don't even know that they're codependent until they literally have to read literature of what codependency is. So many people think that being codependent is just taking care of this other person, just willy-nilly taking care of them and doing everything for them. But it's so much more than that. When you are saving them nonstop, when you are making excuses for them nonstop, when you are justifying and rationalizing for their behaviors nonstop, when you put yourself back burner for them nonstop, when your needs don't get met nonstop, but you're constantly meeting theirs nonstop. Like people think that that's good love. No, that's not good love. That is unhealthy. That is not reciprocal. That is one-sided. You know, but you're right. That's how a lot of people run their relationship. And after years worth of doing that, it's a disaster on your heart, you know? So then people get cold and they don't want to love anymore. And they, you know, F all men and F all women, but the desire never goes away. And it's just sad to see that be the dynamic in so many people's relationships. Lord knows I was very guilty of being codependent, and I did not think that I was until I had to come to the realization that, yeah, you very much are, you know, and the sad part about it is when we're doing it, we don't think we're doing anything wrong because we're making it better for them. Like oh my God, like cutting yourself off at the knees every single time.
Well, that has nothing to do with the person's inability to love as much as it does your inability to improperly set boundaries. You can love someone, but if you set your boundaries the way that they're supposed to, then you won't allow yourself to get mistreated or ran over.
True.
And I know people who love the mess out of another person, but they have boundaries in place. So when that person oversteps those boundaries, even in love, there has to be regulations and consequences to, you know, whatever actions or whatever misbehavior that goes on. You don't just allow it to continue because you love someone. But the people who allow it are the people who don't set proper boundaries, or they don't adhere to the boundaries that they set for themselves.
You know what, though? There's another flip side to codependent relationships when you're the one that's being depended on. I think that there's some people who intentionally, well, not intentionally, but subconsciously set themselves up to be the person that's depended on because they don't think that a person can love them unless they need them. And that's another aspect to like codependent relationships that I've seen in the past where like I need to be needed. I had to have a tough talk to myself about that. I was talking to my counselor about it and I was like, I realized that I felt like I need to be needed, and that's the only way I would like get love is if somebody needs me. And I was like, ooh, that's ego.
No, and Denise, and another aspect of it, because how I operated in it was I liked being the person who had their stuff together. Like it gave me a better sense of, I don't know what the word is, but it made me feel good about myself that look at me like I have my stuff together and you need me.
Yeah.
So it kind of like being on a pedestal in somebody else's mind, even if they weren't treating you right, like I'm on that pedestal of like, you're the type of girl I need. You're the type of girl I can depend on, like that. So then when I like was trying to get healthier and I started meeting, or like I met my husband and he had his stuff together way better than me, like my esteem was challenged. And so that was hard for me. It was like a hurdle I had to jump. Like, you're used to being the one with all your stuff together. Now this person's looking at you like, what are you doing? Or why haven't you haven't done that? Or you still working that out?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I have to change. Because in those relationships, I got to complain about them all day. And I never had to change. You know, and so it was, even though I got to complain about them being losers, I found out that was my comfort place. complaining about other people being losers, and now somebody saying you have some loser tendencies, Ivory.
Yeah.
So.
Toby, can you hear us, Toby?
Yeah, but I have to, yeah, what's up?
All right, so we're talking about, love in our older ages, right? Do we fall in love or do we grow in love?
You grow in love because you don't fall. Falling like it's an accident. It's
accidentally.
Yeah, so I think it's more on purpose that the more you're around a person, the more you engage with that person, you start to like little small things about them, and that's the small things. That's what you fall in love with. Not fall in love, but grow in love with.
Right.
So that's the difference there.
Okay. All right. So next question. And this one was interesting to me too, because it was, like I said, it was on a relationship page, and people were obviously very, very particular about this. So this girl she posted this scenario of how she met this guy, and he's like all the things that she wants, and then she found out he was atheist, and she's not. And she was just like, do I let this go, or is this a deal breaker? So when I saw it, who's got their TV on? It's a lot of TV.
Hold on a second. Go ahead and talk. I can hear you.
There we go.
Let me just fix that little button. So when I read it, I was like, shit, that's a jackpot for me. I was like, I love the fact that this is an atheist. I love the fact that this was not, a quote unquote God-fearing man, right? But that was just, that's just my perspective. And then as I sat on it and I read more feedback and I, thought about it more, there's obviously multiple layers to this. So I know we all kind of come from different backgrounds. So I'm like, well, this would be really interesting to pose to the group. So, I just like if each of us would kind of expand on, would that be a deal breaker if your partner was the absolute opposite of whatever your belief system is? Denise, I'm just kind of going around the screen. I'll go with you first. Would that be a deal breaker for you, for your partner?
It's a no for me, dog. I can't do it.
Really? Really?
And let me tell you why. Because like my ex, he eventually found his own faith, but prior to that, he was just like, not only was he just didn't really believe in anything, he would kind of like make it feel like people who did believe in something were like stupid or something, or like something was, if he was an atheist and he was just like, oh no, babe, I respect what you're doing, I'm on my science thing over here, this is just what I believe in and it's cool, maybe. But I'm also very, very spiritual. And I tell, like, I was, when I pray, I'm just like, yo, like, I need someone who can, like, cover me spiritually. If y'all understand what that means, it's like, I'm a person that's going out into the public and sharing myself, sharing my spirit with people, like, sharing everything about myself, like, internally. I need someone who can pray for me, like, for real. Like, really cover me. And so I can't even be with someone who's not even deep in their stuff, because then I'm going to be asked out. Essentially.
How did y'all handle that then? I mean, because I'm not a religious person at all. I'm very much spiritual, and I'm not an atheist, because I do believe there's a God of some sort, right? Like, I don't know all the definitions between who he or she is, but I do believe there's a creator of some sort. So, like, in those times, how did y'all handle those times where you felt like you needed prayer, you felt like you needed covering? Like, what was his response to that? Because I know everybody's would be different, but what was his response to that?
So the first thing is, when we were together at that time, I was too young to even know that's what I needed. I didn't even realize that's what I needed, and my grandma was still alive. So I had an automatic covering right there because my grandma was still alive. Right. And so, and then when we first started dating, he wasn't like atheist yet, but he was still trying to figure it out. And I was like heavy Christian, like hardcore, like waiting till marriage, like Christian with it at that time. And so he was heavily depending on me for his faith, and I was heavily depending on my grandmother. So when my faith got shooken, like when my grandma was sick, like I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was just like, my whole foundation was fucked up. And so like going through that situation, and then eventually I started to understand, and then like once my grandma was sick and all that type of stuff, like before she died and everything, I started to realize, I was like, okay, like I need someone who's like really in tune spiritually. And he would like kind of talk shit, and I had to tell him, I was like, listen, this is what you're not going to do. I'm like, if you do this again, we will not be together, because I cannot be with someone who is not going to, at the very least, respect what
Right.
You don't have to believe it, but you need to respect it.
Right.
So don't do it, y'all.
So that today you still he would your partner has to be somebody who has a spiritual foundation, obviously.
A strong one at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ivory?
Yeah, it's a absolute no for me too. Well, and the reasons Denise said, definitely, but also I'll say this: I've dated agnostic people, which is there is a God, you know, I just don't have any definition for him or whatever, and they were good people. That wasn't the problem. I felt like I couldn't be all of me with them. I could only be a part of myself. And so since my faith is such a huge part of who I am, it's just like, okay, but when I'm with you, I know you're not interested in this huge part of who I am. And so I have to kind of dismiss it, or not really talk about it with you, or just kind of mention it casually or briefly. But it's huge for me. So that got really hard after a while. I felt like I had to live two different lives, like the lives I live with my friends who are also believers and have faith, and we could talk about what we're praying about and what we're, seeking God about and what we're hopeful about and what the message was about on Sunday. And then my boyfriend, oh, okay, no, can't talk about any of those things. And after a while, that was just like, I just want to be my whole self with whoever I love. I don't want to be half of myself. So that's the big thing for me. Not that I don't think people can't be wonderful partners, because I think they can. My grandparents were married for 60 years, and most of that time, my grandfather was not a person of faith, and they had a wonderful marriage because he was a wonderful man. So I know it can be possible. He didn't keep my grandmother from doing anything she wanted to do, church or faith wise. He wasn't controlling it all, and it worked. I wouldn't want to try to make it work.
Matt, thoughts?
Well, I was with someone for 16, 17 years that she was, I wouldn't say she was really religious, but she was pretty spiritual. And I continue not to really be to this day. And it worked out because I didn't dismiss what she believed in. Like Denise was saying, she was with somebody that would talk stuff about her beliefs. I would never dismiss what she believed in because I just don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know. I ever brought up the word agnostic, but I wouldn't say that. I just know that I don't know. Like Erykah Badu said, a man knows something, knows that he knows nothing at all. Mm-hmm. So now I couldn't see myself with someone who's like, actually someone tried to set me up with this woman who's like really, 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 really religious. Like, and I think that's all she talked about for like a week that we talked. And I'm like, there's other stuff going on in the world. You know, there's other stuff going on in your life, I'm sure. You have children, you know, that wasn't going to work out. But I could see myself being with someone who doesn't have the exact same beliefs as me just because I've done it. And any problems we had in our relationship weren't due to that. So
I had a guy tell me a couple years ago, he was like, "You even go to church?" He was like, "No, I don't." He was like, "Well, if we're together, you're going to have to come to church with me." And I was like, "No, I don't." And he was like, "Yeah, that's how that's going to go." And I was like, "Well, here's how this is going to go." You know, it's one thing to respect and to value, you know, your partner's belief system, no doubt. And I think that being with somebody who might not have the same belief system is very challenging. But that was definitely a deal breaker. That was definitely a deal breaker for me. You know, that you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do that. Well, I don't make you feel the way I feel and believe in how I believe in. But it's definitely, I feel like it's definitely a barrier. So I agree with y'all on that end too. You know, what are your thoughts? Is that a deal breaker for you today?
Nope, not a deal breaker for me. It's the reverse of what Denise said. As long as you are not trying to control me or change me, because I'm not going to try to control you or change you. And as long as whatever you do, as long as that helps you to be a complete person, and long as you want within yourself and you know yourself, I ain't got no problem with it. Now, there's some people who I've seen it on both sides. I see a lot of atheists who are just as bad as the over super Christian or super religious people that I see. Some people who, like some of the people who don't believe in anything, go harder than the people. They go hard about trying to make you not believe what you believe than somebody. I'm like, so you are a part of you just as religious as anybody else, but your religion is getting everybody else to not believe in anything, and you just as bad. So anyway, what I do understand is that even within what you would call somebody religious or spiritual, if they are both, all Christians are not created the same, Muslims, just because I say I'm a Christian and you say you're a Christian, that don't mean the same thing. There's a lot of Christians who would look at another Christian and don't think that that they actually know God. So it's like, just that in itself is not enough. So I don't go by that. I'm definitely a person of tolerance. Now look, I'm gonna let you do you, you let me do me. I ain't got no problem with that. But the other part that gets tricky is if you have children with someone, because a lot of times when it comes to children, people are more hands-on when it comes to what they want their children to be taught and what the things that they want said to their kids, whether it's religion or non-religious, if you want them to go to church or not. But yeah, when it comes to my kids, I'm going to raise my kids the way that I see fit. So as long as that's not an issue, then I wouldn't have an issue with that. It wouldn't matter if they're atheists or not to me. And I've actually dated some people who were agnostic, and you know, we did well together. It wasn't no problem.
But like you said, when it comes down to the kids situation, what if she was like, I don't want the kids to go to church, and you're like, but I do want the kids to go to church?
I got this little thing I call the 2%. When it comes to just about anything in my life or my relationship, you can have it. You can, whatever you want, that's fine. I'm not a picky person. I don't try to force anybody to do anything. But that 2%, when I say it's certain things that I don't bend on, and it's only 2%, so it's very few times you actually gonna see. But when that 2% come in, then you realize that I am an alpha. Outside of that, then, you know, but people know, you know, but I let this stuff be known up front, though.
Yeah, and that's important. When you are a person of faith or not, you definitely have to have that conversation early on with somebody, because that is very important to both sides of the spectrum. Toby, I don't know if you're able to tap in and hear this. Is that a deal breaker for you, meeting somebody who is of opposite faith as you?
No. Actually, my last relationship, she didn't believe, and her family did, but she didn't. And it's basically come down to respect. And this is what Denise was saying. You have to respect their belief systems and go from there, because everybody's going to have a different belief in something different, but we all can respect each other. If we can't do that, we can't move forward at all, no matter what you believe. So it just simply come down to that, plain and simple. And as far as raising kids, they got to be a happy medium there. It'd be better if you don't have kids, but if you do have kids, that'll be kind of hard to do, to have one that believes and one doesn't. You want to have to really say, do I really want my kids to believe in something that I don't, and vice versa? So that's why it's really important for women. That's why women are the gatekeeper, really, that they choose wisely who they get pregnant with, because all those type of questions are going to come up. How you going to raise your kid? What type of, are y'all on the same page as far as religion is concerned? And if you're not, it's going to cause a lot of issues. It's going to cause a lot of problems. So, that's super important.
Well, I think
I was going to say, I dated a Muslim once, and that was my stipulation, was that I would never have children. Like, if you think that I'm perfect for you and I really like you and you're perfect for me, that's fine, but we can't have kids.
Really?
And I was okay with that.
That sucks. That sucks.
What was it about the dynamic? Because I was actually going to mention that one of my girlfriends, we've been friends for our kids are 24, so we've been friends for probably 20-something years, if not longer. And her and her husband have been together for probably 25-ish years. And about the first handful of their relationship, they were both pretty devout Christians. She's still very heavily into Christianity and her spirituality and her religion. He, maybe in 5 to 7 years, converted to Muslim. And that was very interesting to watch how their relationship dynamic almost changed overnight, and progressively had to grow throughout every holiday and all these different things, because their first kid was raised with them together Christian, and then as soon as he was no longer Christian and practiced Islam very, very devoutly, that was kind of my first time that I'd ever really seen two people from two different faiths make it work, and they're still making it work. They respect each other. I mean, she celebrates his and he celebrates her. But that was really interesting to me, because I don't come from a religious place, so I don't truly know a lot of religious people or people who practice a lot of different faiths. So what was it about the Muslim versus the Christian aspect, I guess, that made you feel like you wouldn't want to have kids with that person?
My experience with kids who have competing ideas coming at them like that about faith is that they end up believing nothing. That's been my experience with children, of people who have one parent telling them this faith is the truth, and then the other parent's saying this faith is the truth. The kids are like, yeah, whatever, who knows? And
that's an interesting dynamic.
I'm like, yeah, not my kids. How about no kids?
You gotta believe something.
you gotta believe something. So yeah, that was my experience. So I was like, that's not really what I want for children. So
wow.
And I also didn't really care about having kids. You wouldn't know it now, but I didn't care growing up. In teenager 20s, I really didn't care about having children at all. So that wasn't a big deal for me.
Okay. Interesting. So would that be the same thing for y'all then, if your partner change religions throughout the course of your relationship, from, let's say, Christianity to adopting Muslim or Buddhism or any other type of religion?
Depends on the religion, and it depends on how extreme a person is. Islam is really not that far off from Christianity. They use a lot of the same texts, a lot of the same passages, but what gets tricky is how people view the afterlife, and that's pretty much how that's where the strong separation comes. When a person believes that you have to do this to be saved, and another person believes that this is what you have to do in order to receive eternal, paradise, then that's where the strong divide. But the actual day-to-day practices between those two it's not. There's some ritualistically different things, but it's not that, as far as what you practice and morals and ethics, is not that different.
For me, if it changed, it would just have to be respectful. You know how we started, so don't come in here thinking you finna change me or how we finna raise these kids. So, like, you can change, but don't come in here with the okie doke on me.
See, and for me, that would be the challenging part, because over the years, I've told my kids the truth about Christmas and Easter and Halloween and all the other holidays, right? And so, I don't want to sound like a total jerk and just be like, I couldn't be with somebody who's religious, but that would be hard for me, because a lot of the things that most religions, subscribe to are things that I don't subscribe to, and interestingly enough, like I've thought about, I've thought about putting on my page, like, I am not, a God-fearing woman looking for a God-fearing man, because so many times in the single world, that's what you hear is, looking for a God-fearing woman. And I'm like, well, I'm not her. Cross me off the list, but
don't trust them people anyway. Stay away from them.
Yes, listen, I'm a Christian. They're untrustworthy.
The God-fearing ones, when they say shit like that,
start saying, I'm looking for
they the most hypocritical.
For a godly woman.
Really?
Not to be trusted.
See, but when I see women say, oh, he has to be a God-fearing man. I'm looking for a God-fearing man. I'm like, shit, I don't.
Maybe he do, but don't go after someone who leads with that. That shouldn't be your leading statement. You being a God-fearing man should not supersede you being a good human being.
Hello.
If that's the first thing they lead with, then they trying to trap you. And they try to use what they think they know to either browbeat you or to try to show a level of intellectual or spiritual superiority over you in order to keep you in control. You got to watch out for them people. They slick.
Said that. That makes a lot of sense. I literally, the light just came on. Like, I'm glad that you said that, because I feel like people who do oftentimes lead with that do have that superiority complex issue.
The best Christians I never met, a lot of the best Christians I never met is people I just talk to and I hang out with, or I see them at work, and you could just see the type of people they are, how they love on everybody, and you have to come out. You're one of them, ain't you? And they be like, yeah. But it's like, it's not something that they automatically just try to showboat and showcase. You could see, if you understand the word or the Bible, or you follow it, then you can identify someone else who follows those same tenets without them having to say it or try to put it in lights. And then you'll know, and then they'll kind of be like, yeah, I'm kind of a this, or I'm this. So, yeah.
And Nikki, I will also say, on the woman's side, I don't know about women saying they want a God-fearing man. Sometimes that's a little more genuine than a man saying it. I'm just being honest. But a lot of times when men,
that is true. That's true.
Men are saying it's they have, a lot of times it comes from a broken place. A lot of times they're from broken homes. They have this idea of a woman in their head, and they think they're going to shape you into this God-fearing Proverbs woman instead of just really getting to know and appreciate you is what I've learned.
Right.
So,
that is correct.
Yeah, I don't. No.
Never even want to put that together. I just, when I see it, I'm like, oh, that's not the one for you, man, because I'm not. And I don't want it to make it sound like it's a bad thing if somebody is, because I don't. I mean, regardless of what my personal feelings are, I never knock what works for somebody else, you know. But everybody had a different feedback. A lot of people's thoughts were like, yeah, I can totally be with that person. I'd like to learn from them and be engaged. But I'm like, is that really possible for most people who are truly committed and faithful to their practice? Like, can you cohabitate? Can your partner be of another faith? So I was curious what y'all's feedback was, because I knew most of y'all definitely had your own faith system that you believed in. I always, you know, anytime somebody, you know, starts speaking in, you know, religious terms with me, I'm gone. Like I'm lost. Like, one, because you know, it's not where I come from. It's not my understanding of things. But I'm just, it doesn't work for me. You know, I think I could be more open to somebody who was open to just spirituality and self and higher power, and you know, the idea that there's a source creator. It's like my favorite word Stacy says, source creator of some sort. But it would be a deal breaker for me too. I could not be with somebody that I think was heavily involved in a religious practice. So that's interesting.
If somebody switched, if they switched on me, I could do it depending on what they switch to, because I borrow from a lot of different religions. Like, if I have a friend or whoever and they introduce me to something, I'll try it out. Like, if it works, I'll roll with it and incorporate it in my practices, because I'm not really strict on my faith. I'm just like, I just do what works, so it feels good. And my main priority is like just loving people, like being a good person. That's like, I feel like it's the main priority. It would depend, but if they went atheist on me, as long as if they respected my mind, I could go with it. But it's just like, if you don't respect my mind, I can't do it, bro. I can't.
Yeah. I can see it. I mean, I know it's a challenge for me within my dating system, so I can only imagine on the flip side to that what that's like. I don't think that I could be with an actual atheist, because atheists, you know, it's void of all types of spirituality, of God. You know, it's absolute void of. And I don't believe that there's nothing. I believe that there's something. I'm just not quite sure what he or she is. So I've looked up agnostic and atheist for many, many years, trying to figure out what am I, and I really don't gravitate heavily towards either one of them. But
well, how could you date someone who is religious then? If you're not closing that book to say that you're not saying that there isn't. If someone believes that they have the answer or is following the higher power that leads them, I mean, how would you close that door and say that you couldn't do it?
Could I be with somebody who is religious?
Why couldn't you be with somebody?
Matt's trying to get back in.
Who is?
Matt trying to get back in.
Oh, I don't see an invite. Oh, there we go. If
you're not denying God, the other person is not denying God either. They just have a different. Because they're more assured about their faith than you are. You're not sure, but they say that they are.
Because for me, everything past the idea that there is some sort of creator, everything after that for me is a story. So all the other parts to the walk, I struggle with. I don't believe in the story of Jesus Christ. I don't believe in I don't believe in those things, right? I do believe that there's a creator. I do believe that there's universe, and there's energy, and there's power, and there's manifestation, and there's energy that we put out that we get back in. You know, I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in karma. I do believe in those things, but I don't believe in the book. So for me, I probably could be okay with somebody who has a very light dusting of religion, only because, again, I don't want to knock what works for somebody else because I don't want somebody to knock what works for me either. But
dusting,
a light dusting, a light dusting. But I would have a hard time, being with somebody who says, well, you're going to go to hell if you do this, and you're going to go to hell if you do that, and if you don't repent, and if you don't pray, and if you don't ask for forgiveness, well, then all these bad things are going to happen. Like, those are the parts I don't believe in fundamentally. I believe if you do shit, you're going to get shit in return. I believe if you treat people horribly, you're going to be treated horribly. I believe if you're not a good person, you're not going to get good things back in return. But I don't believe that there's this outline of, well, you're going to go here, and this is what's going to happen, and this is what's not going to happen if you don't follow these things. So for me, that would be the part that would be, I'd be looking at my dude like, get the fuck out of here. And nobody wants that, right? Like, you don't want to be looking at your partner like that when it comes to something that they firmly believe in that I don't. And kind of like you said, it's the where do you go after you die question. I don't believe that, we're going to magically go to heaven and things are going to be all great. I have no clue what's going to happen. But for some people, for that to be what they believe in, that's super important, obviously. And I don't believe in some of that stuff. So that's why I wouldn't have a.
So let me follow up with that. So if someone kind of like me and maybe Denise was saying, as long as this person wasn't in opposition to how you believe, or if they were trying to force you to believe their way of believing, would you be okay with being with someone like that? Or would just the thought of them believing something that you totally don't believe kind of throws you off?
A light dusting. I mean, I think I could probably handle a light dusting, but he would also have to be, there would also have to be a very strong sense of knowledge and sense of self-worth and sense of, I don't know. I've honestly never dated a religious person. I've never dated an overly religious person. And I think that the reason for that is because they just obviously don't gravitate towards me at all. So, I don't know. But it would be, I think it would be a deal breaker for me because we by default would just argue because I probably wouldn't shut my mouth. I probably would say some fly shit, and that's just to be completely honest.
So you would be the aggressive anti-person questioning them about their faith all the time.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be, but I know that my face doesn't lie. So when they are, going all in about, things that I question, that's where I would just have to be respectful of this person, obviously, just shut the fuck up, right? But the reality is to live with somebody, to partner with somebody, just like it would be difficult for some of y'all to not be with somebody who has the same preferences, it would be difficult for me to be with somebody who also has different preferences. So that's just, that would be a deal breaker for me. And I hate to say that because I don't feel like I have a lot of deal breakers, but that seems like a very challenging dynamic for two people on opposite ends of the spectrum to make work. And again, I've never really been in a heavy dating situation with somebody on the other end of the spectrum. So I really can't say, but I just feel like it wouldn't work out well for me. I don't know. I would disappoint this person tremendously because my free thinking mind might not be so free at that moment. I don't know. Cynthia, you just tapped in. Have you followed us much at all on this conversation?
Can y'all hear me? I've been listening in.
What do you think?
I don't have much opinion on dating outside of religion right now. I'm indifferent. I was raised in a Catholic home. And it was really whitewashed out by the time it reached me, right? It was just more about the rituals, but not really practicing the traditions. I have dated somebody who was seemingly real religious and was fooled by that shit. Fooled. And it actually confused the hell out of me because I've always explored outside of my own religion. Outside of Catholicism, I've been to Christian churches, Adventist, atheists. I've visited atheist families and shit like that. So, I don't know. I'm still searching for I think for the most part it's the hierarchy. In Catholic families, I should be more specific. In the Catholic families, in my family, men run the shit and women aren't really respected. And in this in one of the most recent relationships I was in, the hierarchy was what is it? It's woman, man, then the most high. Women come from the rib of the man. And I've had some of that experience with a partner in that realm, and even that shit was difficult for me in general. So I don't know. I haven't really dated anybody who's been super religious outside of my last relationship. That was perplexing because what he preached was not what he practiced. So I'm still open to dating people beyond their religious beliefs, but if they severely go against how they operate in the world and how they treat people, I don't fuck with that no more.
Yeah, well, that brings in a whole other dynamic of the hypocritical person, just period, you know? And that's definitely been something I think that maybe is more of a turn-off factor for me is the what I thought it was supposed to look like versus how the person presents it, right? But that too is a part for me why there's a disassociation between religion and spirituality. For me personally, spirituality is very broad. Religion is kind of got, you know, these boxes, right? And so when you see people who are not practicing what they preach, who are not walking what they taught, for a person that doesn't have a core belief system in anything in particular, it's very challenging to look at that person as authentic and truthful. And nobody's perfect at all. I mean, no matter what side of the spectrum you fall on, nobody's perfect or perfect human. But I just feel like there's some expectations in certain things. And if you portray that you are this, then the actions follow, right?
That's right.
When they don't, it's very confusing to people because you kind of think it's supposed to be one way and they show that it's a different way. So for all of those reasons, for me, it would be very challenging, I think, for me to be with somebody who is heavily.
I was actually in another conversation before this one tonight, and it was religious based, and something that I heard that I took away was true grace teaches the following. And I was like, damn. Have y'all heard that before? I didn't write down what part of the Bible it came from, what verse, but they were talking about like how we have to get rid of like the toxicity. Like the man in the family has to get rid of the toxicity if he's to leave the family, right? And how part of that conversation, and I would like to hear y'all, part of that conversation to hear from y'all was the woman, like one of the man's observations was like the Most High was rousing the woman so that the man could see his ugliness or his faults. Because this man was challenging his wife, right? And he's questioning his wife and asking the Most High to work on his wife. And it took him a while to figure out that really the Most High was calling him out on his own shit. And so then came that true grace teaches true grace teaches the following. If women come from the men and we're to learn from the men, then the men have to be prepared, right? To do that kind of work, to talk the talk or to walk the walk. Does that make sense? I could be completely off, but
no, but I like what grace is. I like what grace is. I like what grace is. I like what grace is supposed to be. I think that this is a great conversation for grace to be entered into, because that's truly what it is, I guess, when you're looking at dynamics like that. You know, having grace for and respect for your partners.
It kind of feels like it. Despite what somebody's religion is, if we practice that, right? Like grace is, what did I say? Grace is, true grace teaches the following. If we're the following, then whoever's preaching whatever they're preaching, right? They should practice grace with whoever it is that they're connecting with.
Yeah, I like that concept that you were talking about, Cynthia, that first part, which is like the husband who's praying to God, whatever, for their wife or whatever. Maybe it's them that needed to change. Because, you know, I feel like oftentimes as human beings, we are praying for someone else to change and praying for something else to be different, when it's really us that needs to do the work. And it's like God calling on us to get our shit together, as opposed to us trying to get everybody else together and thinking there's something wrong with them. I like that concept. And Miss Annette said something in the comments. Looking at a person's spiritual or religious outlook on life is more about respecting them and respecting them having a personal relationship with the Most High. Right. So just kind of double downing on what we all been saying about it. It's just a matter of respect. If it's different, just respect it.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I'm more spiritual than I am religious, Nikki.
Yeah, okay. I'm not at all religious. I definitely identify as being spiritual, and I identify with higher power. I was raised in that place, and I get why. I truly 100% understand why, you know, a religious path is something that is a very comfortable place for a lot of people. 12 steps and the principles and of recovery or something I was raised with, you know. So I get that very much, and I wouldn't want somebody to test my beliefs either. I feel like I know me enough at this age of my life with what I've learned, that being with somebody who was, you know, heavily religious, I don't know if it worked for us. And I'm super okay with that. I'm very okay with that. All right, so our third question, the last one, was, how do you leave a marriage when the other spouse will not let you go? So we're not talking about like just like boyfriend, girlfriend dynamic here. We're talking about married people, for whatever reason, marriage has, you know, on the fritz. But how do you leave a marriage when the other spouse will not let you go? What, I don't know if any of y'all have ever been in this situation before.
I was like, I want to hear about that shit. That's the
movie shit. On the death do you part.
What?
I said, what happened to death do you part? Try to work it out.
Well, so this is obviously all of that has maybe not worked out, right? Maybe they've tried that. I mean, death do you part. Well, I guess, you know, for some people, it truly is death do you part, I guess, right? But let's say that your partner has cheated, or your partner has, you know, broken some of the boundaries in which you and that person have set forth, and you've tried, you've done the counseling, you've done all the things, or maybe you haven't, who knows? But how do you leave a marriage if the other person doesn't let you go? So how do you interpret that question? How did y'all interpret that question?
How can you not? If they want to leave and they want to let you go, how do you hold somebody who don't want to be with you no more?
You can't. Trust me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't get the question. Just leave.
But I see it on. Okay, y'all.
I get the question.
I'm gonna make a. Oh, great! Go. I want to hear.
This is just like a crazy itch I have, you know, that I hope it never has to be tested, right? But like I seriously told my husband, like, the sacrifices that I've made in life at this point, with having these kids and, you know, changing things that I thought I wanted to do new things. If I don't kill you, you will want to die by the time I get done with you. Now, I hope in my heart of hearts that ugly person I know I can be, that I could tame her if it went wrong. Yeah. But I have been very clear that she exists, and you should not try her. That's all I got to say.
I didn't see the ugliness come out of people, and man, when the gloves come off, then they come off, and you get to see the pure ugliness after all of it's over.
I know it exists in me. That's why I try to keep my judgment down. I know she exists.
Yep.
Does. We all got that shit in us, man. I swear, I don't even want to get into that shit, but I know we got that shit in us. The thing is, like, when people know how to access that, right? I've never been married, but I swear, okay, it's part of, y'all stay up late and y'all surf YouTube and shit. I like to watch animal videos, whale videos, stupid shit. But recently,
the dodo,
all of that shit. But one of the things that I've been watching, because it pops up on my Facebook videos, is like Love and Hip Hop, not full episodes, but their highlights. I never watched that shit. I couldn't name a single character for you, but at 2:00 in the morning, I'll be watching that shit. And I've noticed the dynamics with celebrities. They do that shit all the time. They straight up know, like, the wives are friends with the fucking side chicks. And they're like, nah, I ain't leaving.
Right.
Like, what is it going to be like when, like, they're going to be married? Their husband is off fucking around. Maybe their husband don't want a divorce, but they're chilling at home, still married to him. Like, I don't know what the fuck I would do. One, because I've never been married. But I do believe that when I do get married, I do not want to get divorced. So I might be one of them fighting motherfuckers too.
Well, so this is that situation where, you know, you got somebody who won't sign divorce papers. Or you have somebody who, like, when I read it, I thought to myself, I've never been in a relationship where I can't leave. Meaning, I'll leave every fucking thing because I can get another house. I can get another apartment. I can move. I can leave all this shit here and I can pick up and I can start over. So I wasn't sure if that question referred to somebody who was stuck. Somebody, let's say you got a parent who was a stay-at-home parent and the other person worked and now they're wanting to leave the relationship. I can't leave because I'm stuck here. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I don't have resources. My family is 2,000 miles away. You know, I can't go anywhere. They won't leave. I looked at it as one of those situations, you know, but I've never been in a situation as a woman where I couldn't leave. And I've been told that that's, you know, that's not always a good way to set a relationship up. But I'm never going to put all of my eggs into another person's basket. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'll put them in my basket. I don't understand not being able to leave because
excuses. That's an excuse that people make when they halfway don't want to leave. What's even that? If you ain't signed the papers yet all the way, you can still leave. Like, it's nothing that's keeping you from actually leaving. And even if you wanted a divorce, even if the other person is not willing to sign off on it, there's still ways. It's a longer process, but there's still ways around that. So anybody who's just saying that they can't leave, no, that's you something about you don't want to leave. That's all it is.
Yeah, you must have 1 foot still in the grave. Like, you still got 1 foot in there. You can't leave. Like, unless they're physically restraining you,
right?
And you literally do not have any financial means to be able to leave. I do not understand how a person is like truly stuck with somebody else.
See, that's what I was going to ask. If you want to divorce somebody and they won't sign, I mean, you can still divorce them, right?
I think it depends on what state you're in, but I thought that you could eventually be divorced after
Just
a certain
long court process.
Yeah, of the other person not signing papers and you trying to get them served and all this other stuff. Like
weird.
Eventually it can dissolve.
But that ain't got nothing to do with you still living with the person, though.
And I think by that time it would be out of spite. They wouldn't do it out of spite because who would stay with someone who doesn't want them?
But I don't want to hear anybody talking about he won't let me leave. But you still live with him, so you just not leaving either. Stop it. Cut it out.
But there are, to Nikki's point, there are situations where, for the woman's point, it's like, well, I'm going to make sure you don't got enough money to take care of yourself, you know, as we go through this process. Right. So from a man's point of view, I've heard people say, you know, the woman like, well, if you leave me, you're not seeing these kids. Leave me out, you know. And so men are like, I'm just trying to stay till the kids get grown because she said I ain't going to get to see my kids if I leave her. You know, and I'm not saying those are, you can leave, but there are ways people can manipulate.
That shit is legit. And my dad left my mom.
Try to make you stay even when you don't want to be with them anymore.
After maybe 25 years of marriage, my parents, well, probably longer than I can't even tell you. My parents separated when I was 16. I'm 40 now. I'll be 40. He straight up left her with the rent. After all those years of marriage, he had to leave the house because he was abusive, and straight up left her with no rent.
That's so.
Those situations legit happen. The manipulation with money, especially, shit.
Yeah.
My dad.
Yeah, I get the situations, but I'm saying like when, like based upon the statement that was said, when someone's saying that the other person just won't allow it to happen, I'm not going for that. Anybody can, you know, you can.
I get it, you can, but it might feel like a bigger burden to leave. Like it's still them not letting you go.
Right.
They're trying to manipulate the situation.
So say that, and don't just say that. Oh, he won't leave. He won't let me. I mean, just talk about all of the variables, and people get it.
Well, so then in that situation, how the hell does a person leave when money is being the manipulated factor over whether you can physically go or
get a job? Get a job.
Also, historically, men get paid a lot more than women to this day. So it's not like we can square away.
Get a job and a roommate.
You have to completely
you bringing that.
Let me tell you, know, it sounds like I'm just saying that off the top, but I know a lot of people, and trust me, I guarantee y'all know some women too. Before they actually leave, they start putting a plan in place. They start saving money. They start getting fillers out. They start, hey girl, you looking for a new roommate? And they already filling everything out before they actually leave. So if it's really determined in your mind, you can start making preparations before you actually do.
That's what happened to me.
But you made plans and you made plans. Who made plans?
When people are connected, it does happen.
Who made the exit plan? She made the exit plan, Matt, or you made the exit plan?
Who made plans?
She did.
You made the exit plan?
Yep.
Sorry that happened to you.
But you gotta have one. You gotta have one. If you plan on leaving, you gotta have a plan. Not a plan. You want to say failing to plan is planning to fail. So you gotta have a plan, and it does require money. You know, and I think about people's situations today where. Like my first apartment was a brand new apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, like 1,100 square feet. It was like $685 a month. So as a 21-year-old with a child, you know, I couldn't move if I wanted to. It wasn't shit to pick up and get a new apartment. Now though, people use that money factor in that, you know, you haven't worked in so many years because you've been staying home, raising children, you know, being the homemaker. There is that partner who makes it very, very difficult for that person to be able to leave. They cut you off of the account, you know, and then of course you have to get an attorney and you have to get all this shit, but that don't pay a hotel tonight. That doesn't cover daycare next week for the kids. That doesn't put gas in my car. And so many times the injured party takes you off the bank account, takes you off the car insurance, takes you off all these things. And so you're emotionally stuck with, I got to fucking go back. Like, I have to go back. This is the only way I'm going to be able to do A, B, C, D until you get the job.
Excuses. Ain't nobody now. If you're arguing if it's going to be uncomfortable, yes, it will be uncomfortable for you to. You're going to have to make a lot of concessions, and a lot of things are going to change in your life. You're going to have to cut back on a lot of stuff. But that's totally being uncomfortable is totally different than saying you cannot leave.
Yeah, no, this isn't even about being uncomfortable. This is the fact that you have no access to money. You have no access to savings.
We're not even talking about emotional stability in this conversation, Wayne. We're just talking about money. I said we're not even talking about emotional stability.
Right.
I mean, they're not excuses.
Yeah, you ain't ready to leave. Those are excuses. That tells me you ain't ready to leave.
Well, we are talking about why people don't leave, right? Like, one person wants out, one person wants to stay in.
And what I'm saying is both people want to stay in to some degree when you see those situations.
That's not the debate, right?
Well, but I think...
Yeah, no, I disagree. I don't think both people necessarily want to stay in. I think some people's plans take longer for them to come up with, and they do feel like you could make this easier for me, but you don't want to. So now, instead of leaving you 5 years ago, I'm just leaving you now. Like, I would have preferred to leave you 5 years ago, but now I had to wait 5 years because you.
Let me tell you something.
So people say, it's the same example I had with men and kids. Like, there's men who have just stayed because the way you were threatening to use my children against me, I just rather deal with you for a few more years.
Yep.
But that woman knows if she had made it easy and said you would have the same access, everything would be the same, he would have left her years ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So,
but why be with somebody that don't want to be with you? That's
and I didn't want to be held on to.
Exactly.
Now, this point number 2, I'm going back to the original Ivory. In marriage, that's what you signed up for. You signed up for some crazy, foolish ish to go down. If it went down and it was time to split, you signed up for it to go to hell. Because that's what it is. It's the tearing.
You should anticipate that. You should anticipate that.
You have to anticipate it is going all the way to hell.
I mean, you sound like you live the perfect life, Q. I need to get to know you, Wayne.
You say, why you say that?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
No, it's not even that I'm disagreeing with what Ivory is saying, but it's so even when you say I'm staying for the kids or she gonna do this, you're still making a choice to stay for your personal reasons. Even if it's the kids are part of your personal reasons. You want to have better access to your kids than what you have. What I'm saying, the pure decision when a person says, I want to go, but they won't let me go, that's false. If you want to leave, you can leave. Furthermore, if you've ever seen a man or a woman find somebody else, they leave quick. Whether they can move in with the person, when they got them a new boo thing, they got them a new love, they find a way to get out real quick. So you could have left when you wanted to, you had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that's what people just need to start saying. I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but I'm going to ride this out a little bit longer and see if he start acting right.
Hey, am I the only one hearing that clicking sound?
No, I heard it too. I thought it was my
sound like somebody typing or something like that. I don't know.
It sounds like on the movie Signs when they were talking through the baby monitor.
I thought it was just
some weird background sound.
It could be headphones. If somebody's microphone is brushing up.
I don't know. No one has headphones on, do they? No.
I got earbuds. Sound like somebody was like texting or something like that, texting on their phone, but I don't know.
Well, and I do hear what you're saying because I think there is a small part of somebody who doesn't want to go, right? So they'll use some of those excuses as reasons to not go. But at the end of the day, there are some legitimate reasons why people have to stay longer than they want to until they can formulate that plan, until they can get enough money together to get the apartment or, you know, get the job and have some security underneath them. Because once you leave, usually you don't get to go back. Once you leave, that's it. Like there's no going back home after that. So like, you got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you bounce. So on one hand, I can see why you say that, Q.
And that's what I guess from the perspective I'm saying. That's why, yes, you're supposed to weigh out your options, and that's a part of weighing out your options. So when you weigh your options out and you decide, it's better for me to stay right now, then okay, that's fine. So you made a choice based upon the options that you weighed out, but it's still your choice.
That's true. That's true.
It's my choice, but you know, if you had made it easier, I would have left you already. I got you.
Well, that's what everybody do in relationships. I act right. I stay faithful. I bring flowers. I do all that so you don't leave. Or so can't nobody stay. I mean, that's in everything that you do. I'm auditioning on a regular basis.
Auditioning.
You better know you auditioning.
I mean, it's a daily audition. Yeah, I just know that there's obviously other dynamics as to why people sometimes have to stay in relationships, even when it is a relationship they no longer want to be in. But that staying for too long shit, nah. Once I can get my feet moving, if I got you, I'm out of there. But I wasn't sure when I read that question what was meant by that, other than maybe an ex not wanting to sign divorce papers or let the person leave and holding money or kids or access over their head.
And the reason I bite back so hard on that is because I've heard so many people use that same type of statement. And the truth of the matter is, when they were saying that statement, you just haven't made a choice to leave. Don't try to put the onus on them and say, they won't let me leave. No, you just haven't made a choice to leave. It ain't them making you. You haven't made that choice because either your options are telling you not to, or you don't want to at the moment.
And I think I agree with that statement. I think just what is moving me right now is just in the context of this conversation, those comments seem to lack like some empathy. That's it. But I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's just the delivery of it. Like kind of like a disregard for like the emotional wellness to that action.
You know what? Saying probably because I didn't went through it. I've been going through it for the last 3-4 years, so all my emotions and sympathy is out the window. I ain't got no more love for that part right there.
Got you, man. I got a lot of love. I got you. A lot right now, man.
All right, well, we got 10:37. Y'all want to talk about? You want to switch roles a little bit and talk about the transgender athletes in now being in female sports?
How we out for that shit, man?
You born a woman, you play as a woman. You born a man, you play as a man. That's it.
Exactly.
I feel like this thing may have been a little bit of pandering because I'm like, for me, I'm not a transgender woman, but if I was a transgender woman, that would not be my priorities in terms of the things that I need as a transgender. That's not a priority for me. Is there health care all the way it needs to be?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
With that statement alone,
can I legally marry my partner? Fuck the sport. Can I legally marry my partner? You know?
Like,
but someone in high school, that healthcare may not be the top of their priority.
Right. Yeah, but there's so many people that,
and they're not even voting, so you know it's not about them.
I mean, I'm straight, and even straight people don't prioritize health over going to a barbecue or some shit.
But what I'm saying, I'm saying as a person, if I want something from my government, that's not what I want first. I want something for my health first. There's so many people that transition and don't get the proper health care that they need. And I don't think that transgender people are putting sports on their priorities of things that they need the government to do for them.
That's good. That's a good point.
I feel like this is pandering.
Yeah.
This
is pandering.
But it is a big deal, though. They're not dealing with it properly, and it is a big deal.
But and the other piece is this: there should be, you know, we're getting into all the different genders and da 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 da. There should be a league for transgender women. There should be a league for transgender men, because at the end of the day, you're the like biologically, your makeup is different. And then couple that with the fact that you now have to take hormones or whatever the case may be. So you're still not going to, your biological makeup is still not going to match a person who was born this way, nor is it going to match the gender that you were born or assigned to when you were at birth. So there should be a separate league for you. Should you be in the same league? No. For everything else, cool. But when it comes to physical activities, physical competitions, no.
On a school level, does anybody else have an issue with the whole transgender thing in the first place? Should we even allow children that's not of age to decide that they want to take hormones and chop their stuff off or do gender reassignment? Does anybody see that as an issue as well?
In terms of allowing it or not allowing it?
Well, they're allowing it. So, I mean,
I think about safety and shit. I've run into kids where I was actually told by a social worker, like, one of the things to look out for is like self-mutilation kind of shit, because kids are so dissatisfied with the physical appearances of their body. I didn't know about that shit. So I don't know what a parent would do to keep their kid from hurting themselves. I haven't been in this. I don't know.
Well, a lot of times in these cases, the parents are okay with. A lot of parents are okay with children transitioning at younger ages now. I don't know. I would say, like, I was just watching a story, and a girl kind of did it when she was younger, started taking testosterone and different things to transition. And she said when she got about 18, 19, she realized, like, that she was still fluid, but like she wanted to be a woman. Like, I don't want to be a man. I want to be a woman that's fluid, you know. But the issue she had was she had been taking the testosterone so long, it had permanently changed her voice. Permanently changed her voice.
Oh, wow.
So she was like, I was able to switch a lot of the things, but she said, I can't change my voice back. And I was like, oh, that's the kind of thing that makes it, like, give people some time to really, a lot of times people are still figuring it out. And some of these things are permanent.
Yeah.
And so I do think people should give kids a little bit more time to really kind of develop into their own mind. Your brain isn't even fully formed yet a lot of times.
Right.
Let their little brains fully form. So I
thought it was like it's like 25, right?
Yeah, I think so, Sim.
I have to play devil's advocate. So there was another situation. This was a TV show, so this wasn't a real situation. But the person, they were transitioning from being a boy to wanting to be a young lady. And they wanted to start taking their testosterone their estrogen early to avoid, like, the facial hair growing and the voice deepening and things like that. So for some people, it's like a race against the clock in a way. So, I mean, I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, to Ivory's point, Sin's point, like, your brain is still developing as a human being. You gotta take some time to let that brain develop. I know that they're supposed to go to counseling before they actually get the sex change. I don't know if they're supposed to go to counseling before they start taking the meds or not. But that's a tough call.
And I do think it's a tough call. And I think it's literally a case-by-case situation. I think most people's knee-jerk reaction is, oh, no, I wouldn't do that to my kids. I wouldn't want my kids to do that. I wouldn't support that for my kids. But, like, I guess until you have a kid who's asking, or who is stating, or who is, you know, hoping and wishing. I mean, until you actually have that situation, you don't know how you handle the situation until you have your own child presenting something to you differently. But I do not. I mean, they don't let us get a driver's license till we're 16. We can't buy alcohol till we're 21. We can't vote until we're 18 years old. Like, you know, going back to brain development, I'm okay with allowing your child to express themselves how they feel or how maybe they want to identify as, but to go in and chemically change that or surgically change that, that's going to require some intense therapy. Because, not to say that I'm trying to therapy that out of my kids by any means, but for them to be 100% confident with the decision that they're going to make, because ultimately a lot of that shit is not reversible.
Yeah, once you chop it off, it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, for that part,
coming back.
That particular part,
It ain't
but
coming back.
They're about to allow 7-year-olds. She said they're about to start having 7-year-olds are allowed to start having sex changes now. Like they dialed back the age on this. I don't know about this.
They actually wait till they're an adult for that. They shouldn't do that till they're like.
Oh, you know where that come from? They got lobbyists who pouring a whole bunch of money into that to make sure that they keep pushing it down.
Nah.
But to the sports conversation too, because I was reading into it a little bit. So it's really a high school problem more than anything right now. College has rules set up. Of course, Olympics have rules set up where if you're going to be a transgender competing with women, you have to be tested. Your testosterone levels have to be at the level of another woman's. I still think that's kind of iffy.
That ain't enough.
That
ain't enough.
There are some things in place at the higher competing levels. I just want to bring some balance to the conversation.
You born a man, you compete as a man.
Tonight. I'm trying to bring some balance to the conversation.
You're born a girl, you compete as a girl.
So the issue that I have with that is that if women were found to have testosterone in their blood or their urine, like we would be banned for performing enhancement drugs. Yeah,
and Nikki, you know this happened to one of the young ladies had to get tested because she was a hermaphrodite and didn't know. That happened like some years ago.
How you not know?
Well, no, your parents can. I mean, if you are born with both, that's being a hermaphrodite, and so your parents can choose for you when you're young, but it doesn't mean internally that you're not still both.
Right.
Yeah. So they might have chose for her to be a girl, but it doesn't mean that internally she still didn't have higher levels of testosterone.
I'm with Q thing though.
If males were taking. If males were taking hormones and females were taking, testosterone, you're still taking substances, right? Like
right.
And we can't do that. Like in sports and athletics, like we can't take any performance enhancing drugs at all. Like you get totally kicked off of the team, no scholarships, no nothing. And I get that, hormones and testosterone do have to be taken in people who are going through transgender situations. But like that, I mean, and it could be ignorant for me to say this, but I feel like that gives one an advantage because you are playing with your God-given, your born genetics, and then you got some more stuff being pumped into the body. And I just don't see at all how that's on a level playing field. When one of those women said, and I don't know who the woman was that said it, but she said, basically Biden just eviscerated female sports. And at first I wasn't sure what she really meant by that, but as I really sort of put 2 and 2 together, I was like, yeah, you're going to have...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Male
what I was saying
women
on college level,
women-born women.
If you're a trans woman on the college level, you have to suppress your testosterone. So you have to show a year of different treatments that have suppressed your testosterone.
Just play with the men. You just play with the men.
Finish my thoughts. You have to suppress your testosterone enough. You have to show evidence that you've done that for a year. The point I was getting to, though, is even though they're doing that at college and Olympic level, the high school level is where you're getting the scholarships, the scouts. You're going to these national conferences, and there's nothing on the high school level that is monitoring this or saying that you have to have these things suppressed. So a lot of times on these high school teams, the girls are getting like completely blown out the water by transgender women. And it's blowing their chances for scholarships and things like that. So that's very, very problematic. That was the end of my point, is the high school level is very problematic.
So Ivory, the reason I keep making it that simple is because with all of these different nuances, people are trying to find the proper way to define a certain thing. And as long as you keep trying to define it a certain type of way, you're really going to miss what needs to happen. There is a competitive advantage for someone who was born one way versus another. The only way you can make sure that that stays fair is what you're born as. That's what you compete as.
So why do you think that they don't agree?
Because
go ahead.
Of course, I don't believe in any of it. So that's not my point. My point is, I think if you oversimplify it, you don't talk about all the details of it, you get dismissed as well.
No, I don't think it should. I don't think it should be more. I don't think when it comes to transgender and sports, I don't think it should be any more complicated than how I said it. Like seriously, I don't. And you know, I've done sports all my life, and if you try to make it more complicated than that, then you're really gonna mess some stuff up. And that's why they're messing stuff up right now, because they're trying to overcomplicate the whole. How do I identify a person when those rules should not apply when it comes to athletics and how a person's body makeup is?
So, but okay, this is why I'm saying, and I'm gonna let somebody else talk about this. This is why I'm saying you're oversimplifying, right? So if I'm a man and I have decided to go through therapy to be a woman, and I also am an athlete, and that's something that I value and I want to do. Now I am taking away the testosterone that would allow me to compete with men. I no longer have the testosterone levels that would make me competitive racing against a man.
Well, then you compete with yourself.
You are telling me to keep competing.
You be the best you that you could be.
You're telling me to keep competing in a way that no longer works for me because I no longer have the testosterone.
That doesn't. But the whole physical makeup is still different.
Exactly. Your makeup is still different, but you do need a certain level of testosterone to compete against another man, even as a man.
Right.
It depends on what sport. That's not every sport. That's
right.
If it's a more physical sport where it's football or something like that, or maybe even basketball in some cases, but that's not for every sport. And
maybe you just not gonna be the best at it. You play it because you love the game, but maybe you just not gonna get a scholarship out of it.
I mean, what are the alternatives?
The alternative, there should be different leagues for transgender people. That is the fair thing to do. There should be different leagues for
That's
people.
That's the best. That's the best.
That is, but then what happens though when you run track and then you're running by yourself though?
Right.
Because at that meet, you know, how you gonna do a trans basketball team? And then on top of that, then you'd have to have two different teams for man to woman, woman to man. You know, so then that in itself becomes exclusive to some degree. It starts excluding people. So I don't even think from a competitive sport nature that's the best answer.
Who does it exclude? If they're transgender teams, who does it exclude?
If you want to play basketball,
yeah,
and if there's not 5 to 10 transgender people in your school or that actually want to play basketball, and you got to find that, and the other teams that you have to play also have to have that as well. So if you don't have that, now you're just left out and you're not able to play anything. That's more exclusive.
People for a whole team.
And no
right.
Can I go back to my original point that this is a more difficult conversation than you trying to make it?
I don't think so, but yes, go ahead.
That's my whole point.
Well, if we can't do the exclusive team thing, then you probably have to play for the what you were assigned at birth. But the other thing about it is this is the other tricky part about it too, though. everybody who is transgender doesn't want to reveal that information.
But that's a problem too. They should reveal it. You should have to reveal that.
I feel like if you're having sex with someone, that's something you should reveal as consent when it comes to consent.
Yeah.
And if you want to play sports, then that's the other part of it too. If you don't want to reveal it, don't play sports.
Yeah.
It ain't complicated.
I mean, there's a tiny bit of a slippery slope in there. I mean, there's always a slippery slope in these things because you want inclusion, right? You don't want to exclude people. You want to have inclusion, but and I tried to like think about this so many different ways because I didn't want to sound ignorant and I didn't want to sound like I was not advocating for transgender rights because I think I clearly advocate for everybody's fucking right to be human. But as a woman, I would not want to play in a sport with a woman who was born a man. I don't care how much testosterone he's not taking and how many hormones he is taking. Like, he still has a genetic makeup that I don't have. And I just don't understand why it would be, a negative look to have. Okay, we have the Special Olympics, right? So, like, I don't know what would be bad about having a transgender, division of athletics would be. But then, like you said, Denise, some people don't want to, acknowledge that. I don't know if there's an easy way to fix this, but I do not think
they can't play sports.
Women need to be playing sports as women.
They got to find some intellectual activities to compete in. Sports are out.
No, it's not. Just play what you're born as.
Yeah.
It's either there has to be another league or play. Yeah. That's what you gotta
play what you're born as.
So then enters in the next legislative thing that he signed off as executive order was the allowing transgender people to enroll in the military. And personally, I didn't give a fuck about that. I'm like, if you want to go fight, you want to go get on the front line, you go right on ahead.
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is.
A lot of the feedback that people were saying on this was, I don't want this confused person out there with a gun, and I don't want this, this. And I was like, hold up. Like, you can't make some of these people happy ever, right? But is there an issue with transgender people being in the military in the same fashion as there is in sports?
No.
It
affects nothing. It changes nothing. As long as, because I think they finally got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell like some years back. So as long as they're allowed to like get married and they're allowed to like have their families with them like everybody else, cool. But if they're not going to allow them to have their families and get married, then they shouldn't let them in because that's not fair for them to be like putting their life on the line and not be given the full rights and benefits that they deserve. Other than that, no problem.
And I think it's just something that it needs to be stressed for everybody. I am a person of faith who does not agree with everybody's lifestyle, but like people need to be challenged to be respectful, loving, kind, not bullying. I think the thing with the military is like, all these macho men who already don't know how to act right with women, as we can see.
Yep.
And then we have to worry about whether they're going to act right with trans people as well. And instead of telling those people, act right, or there will be consequences. Nobody cares what you believe. Just be a decent person to everybody. What we say instead is, let me get you away from these people. So I'm going to give them all the benefits, take all the benefits away from you because they don't know how to act right. No, just make them act right.
Right. Well, I think with the military thing, some other issues I was reading was that after like a certain period of time, the military then becomes responsible for gender reassignment surgery, becomes responsible for footing the bill for hormone therapies and things like that. And so then, of course, people were having an issue with, the benefits going towards those things.
So what? Those are excuses.
And the military.
They serving your country, take care of it.
Yeah, you serve
year on crap.
Do what?
I said the military just wastes millions of dollars every year on a whole bunch of crap we don't need.
And going to war and killing people.
Literally.
Y'all can pay for some gender reassignments if these people are I mean, the military does so much bullshit. My mom was in the military, got family members being in the military. First of all, if you are a transgender person and they were going to pay for your reassignment, you better make sure that they're going to pay for it. Because when I tell you my mom had to fight for disability for so long to get her 100% disability, years and years, we're talking double years just to get her, disability. The military is flaky when it comes to benefits sometimes. Especially if you don't retire, they're flaky. If you just get out after your 8 years or 4 years or however many years you decide to do, so yeah.
Listen, we don't got no draft. You need to be happy for whoever want to go do it.
Right. Right. You want to go ahead. I'm not going to challenge that at all. But it was just interesting to see the feedback of people who found a million reasons as to why they don't want a gay person fighting next to them or a lesbian person fighting next to them. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. They said it was like some 13,000 or 14,000 openly reported transgender folks in the military right now. And I was really surprised there was that many people, or that many people identified or acknowledged that they were. But it's, under previous administration was illegal for them to join the military. So now it's legal, of course, for transgender folks to join the military. So I just was curious what y'all thoughts were on that since we were talking about it before. But it looks like we all on the same page for the most part. Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Stayed on time for the most part. So yeah, I hope that the StreamYard thing wasn't too much of a pain in the butt. I'll definitely make sure that the time on next week's session is accurate and try to post the link to the StreamYard in a more visible space. And just like normal, go around the room, just kind of touch base, closing thoughts, and just see what news we need to catch up with everybody. Denise, we'll start with you.
Closing thoughts is on love. Amen. Take your time. Don't rush it. If you see something out the gate, that's probably what it is. A leopard seldom changes its spots. So just, take that into consideration before you get in deep with somebody. In terms of the transgender thing, definitely I feel like we need to get the priorities together when it comes to healthcare, because I feel like that's first above all. And I'm going to stand by that. People really need the proper healthcare because they're not getting it, and all kinds of things are happening because of that. And then lastly, I'm just working on some new music. If you haven't checked out my short film / music video, you make sure you check that bad boy out. I'll have some new episodes coming soon with behind the scenes. That's all I got.
I agree.
No final thoughts. I think I got all my thoughts out. But Ivory Live is 9 p.m. on Monday nights. Next week we're talking about abortion, so it should be interesting.
Now you don't do a call-in; you just have your scheduled guests, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. But if any of you ever want to come on, I'm always open. Just let me know.
Okay. So next week's topic is on abortion.
Yep. So if you that's passionate about that, let me know.
Okay.
I'll put you on.
Cynthia.
I don't have much to say. I missed the majority of the conversation. I was glad to be a part of what I was a part of. I can be a motherfucker sometimes, right? I can be pretty hardcore in my way of thinking, but usually I focus on processes and humanity throughout any process, right? And how we treat people. So, in any of these conversations, I consider who's missing. And I don't really feel like in some of these conversations, I can really say anything because I don't have connections to people. But again, I'm always just centered on how people are treated. And if they don't have a space next to us, then where would we consider putting them, right? And in our responses is where I find what I'm most interested in, right? Like in different people's responses, and if we truly ask somebody, like, where would you where's their spot? Where do they get to sit? But I always dig on this shit. Like I really appreciate it, especially during the pandemic. I've really gotten to know more people in different areas than I had access to just living in the East Side. So that's it. Like I appreciate everybody in this space. I do.
Thanks for being here. Toby, what you got? Any closing thoughts? What you got going on? Any news?
I just want to say this. As far as the relationship thing, I just want to speak on that. The only thing, it always come back to respect. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you look at it, it always, whether it's religion or how you get along, it goes back to how you respect each other. And once we all, hone in that thought process, we'll be in a lot better place. And also touching in on the transgender issue, that's a real touchy subject, trigger subject, but that goes back to respect also. And but there has to be boundaries to where people need to understand that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. If you're a transgender, you're a transgender. And that needs to be separate, because you can't force your thoughts and your ideas on me if I don't want that. That's not right. So it goes back to respect. So that's all I got for right now.
All right. Matt, we'll jump down the bottom. Q will come up your way. Matt, what you got?
I don't really have any closing thoughts. Everything that I thought was expressed, whether I expressed it or not. As far as what I'm working on, I'm still working on things, not as quickly as I should be. But
you got a podcast coming.
My first single should be dropping in May. So.
Yep.
That's what's up. I'm like Cynthia. I like, just want to consider all people. You want to, do the right thing that's right for everybody. If you were born a man, you compete as a man. If you're born a woman, you compete as a woman. And I don't think that's a disrespectful thing to say. I mean, there's certain, I've been in sports my whole life. Out of all the equality arguments that we try to have, don't take my word for it. From a physical aspect, look at the 100-meter dash. Look at the world record for bench press. Look at the high jump. Look at every single thing. The hormones that's pumped in our body from a certain age. Men are superior to women, except when it comes to childbirth or those other type of pains. So that's not something that is a slight against anyone else. It's just stating the facts. If men had to give birth, then the population would drastically lower immediately. it wouldn't go to a zero birth rate. I think women have a much higher pain threshold than men, in all honesty. But so that's not a slight against anybody. And not only that. I'm saying what other people won't tell you. Even when people try to speak about equality and this, we want to have equal rights for everyone. I guarantee you, when a man or a woman's daughter is doing a certain sport that he's helped them and watched them participate in, when a transgender woman comes in and blows everybody's socks off, they have resentment against these people. And that's not something that they're going to come out and say, but there's a definite resentment because they feel like they have a competitive edge. So what I'm saying is, make sure, and if you stay on, if you did it the same way that I said, you would actually find people love the underdog. People would actually champion and root for you if they feel like you don't have a competitive advantage. But I think I'm saying the same thing over and over. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is, it's not coming from a place of malice or trying to be rude. I think that's really, when it comes to gender identifying, sports and athleticism is something that should not be meshed into that category. When if I identify you as a woman, then that also means I give you the same privileges as every other woman up into and including sports. I think there's certain things that have to stay separate.
Yes, I agree. And who's to say if there wasn't a transgender sports lane, there wouldn't be more people willing to participate, or more people that come out and want to participate, you know? So, I mean, who's to say that it can't be, who's to say that it can't, you know, compare, right? Like, you know, it makes total sense that there would be a lack of participants just, I think, right now. But, like, who's to say if they created a transgender league, that shit wouldn't be just as fucking bumping as any other league, you know? So, I agree. And I never want to feel like I'm excluding people at all. So I had a really hard time trying to say what I said about, if I'm tripping, you need to tell me how I'm tripping, because I just don't see how a woman born a male can play with a woman born a female. Like, it just, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly, and I don't think that's being insensitive. I think that's just my opinion, obviously. So that's pretty much it. No news here. Just trying to, you know, keep growing with the little tiny changes as we do, and hopefully have a few new things to add to the page tomorrow. I know Q's been doing 21 questions, so we've got a 21 questions thing going on. I know y'all got to ask yours. I have like 45 questions written down, so Q will have to come up with the time to. But 21 questions is something that, you know, Q had talked about wanting to start up and kind of get some more activity on the page. And so sitting down and literally having 21 random questions and being willing to answer them. You can say no, of course. And then I think you wanted to do it where then, of course, it gets asked the other way around. So then whoever got asked the first time, then will be the one asking questions next go around. So
yeah, Denise will be doing hers tomorrow.
Okay, so you're asking her 21 tomorrow.
Yeah, I got some good ones too.
Okay. Right now it's not scheduled, you know, it's just kind of like as people are finding time to get the 21 questions in. So there's that.
Get the real special questions.
I mean, they can be 21 questions of whatever you want, but the person can say no. You know, the goal is to try to get as many of those 21 questions answered. So if you're interested in playing 21 questions, let us know. You know, if you're going to ask the questions, you got to be willing to answer questions too. So you got to think about that. If you're going to put somebody on a hot seat, you got to be ready to put yourself on the hot seat. So it's just 21 random questions. And that's pretty much, I think we're just working on getting some equipment, and just, you know, we're doing these little think tanks and just putting some shit together. So thanks y'all for sticking in there with us and hanging out with the new StreamYard and hanging out with us tonight. That's pretty much all I got.
Bye, y'all. Adios.
All right, good night, y'all.
Bye, y'all.